Hello, my fellow DeSoto residents and business leaders. I am Mayor Rick Walker, and I am happy to once again welcome you all to our annual State of the City address. This event 1 year ago was the last large public gathering held in the city. My sincere hope is that this will be the first and last address that I give via video conference, as I am looking forward to the time when we can be together and resume some degree of normalcy. This has been a challenging year. Many of us have lost someone dear to us, or we know someone that has lost someone to the pandemic. To honor and remember those we have lost, I ask that you all join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. In spite of the pandemic and the challenges it has brought us all, we have continued to move forward here in DeSoto. And I am proud of the continued progress in our community and pleased to have the opportunity to share the accomplishments that we have achieved, as well as upcoming projects and initiatives the city will be taking on in 2021 as we continue our work to improve and enhance our community in measurable and impactful ways. First, the finances. No single responsibility of a city governing body or administrative official is more critical than the preparation, adoption, and implementation of our annual budget. Our budget is aligned with our objectives, priorities, and goals, and it sets the course for the organizational work plan and levels of service for the community. I am happy to report that DeSoto's general fund began 2021 on firm financial ground with a 2020 year-ending cash reserve of $2.31 million. This figure represents approximately 45% of operating expenses, which provides a healthy buffer against unforeseeable financial impacts and helps the city maintain our AAA bond rating. DeSoto's fiscal policies indicate fund balance reserves of 3 to 4 months, or about 30% of operating expenses. Our long-term budget projections are aimed to moderate the fund balance toward that level over the next several years. 2020 was a particularly challenging year in many ways, not the least of which being the management of the city's finances. During the COVID-related shutdowns in the spring, we feared a significant drop in economic activity would result in a corresponding drop in sales tax collections. This was concerning because sales tax represents approximately 40% of revenue for our general fund, and a significant reduction in those collections would directly impact our ability to maintain our desired level of service. Accordingly, we were very conservative about expenditures during the second quarter of 2020, putting off major acquisitions and even furloughing several employees as we implemented our own partial shutdown. Fortunately, the feared sales tax declines did not materialize. Building construction and other economic activity continued their steady upward trends from previous years, and federal COVID stimulus allocations combined to push the general fund revenues well above our budgeted projections. The 2020 general fund revenues exceeded the budget amount by over $791,000, or approximately 18%. Sales tax collections exceeded budgeted amounts by about $300,000 and exceeded the 2019 collections by 3.5%. Due to continued strength in new home construction, building inspections and planning application fees also exceeded budget amounts by a combined $241,000. The only area of declining revenues was park and recreation fees, which were understandably impacted because we were unable to have spring soccer and we could not open the pool until July. In total, DeSoto received $600,000 in CARES Act funding in 2020. These funds were used to implement projects directly related to COVID impacts that include $102,000 to replace HVAC units at City Hall, $46,000 for technology upgrades to facilitate remote work and improve our meeting capabilities, $34,000 in payroll reimbursements for essential workers, and a $375,000 project in the county adjacent to the city to extend broadband internet infrastructure to the areas south of DeSoto. Our water and sewer utilities also ended 2020 on firm financial ground, with each fund seeing an increase in its cash reserves. The water fund ended the year with a balance of $1.47 million, up slightly from 2019. This represents 77% of yearly operating expenses. Strong balance reserves in this fund have allowed us to hold water rates steady for the past 3 years. The sewer fund ended 2020 with a cash balance of $445,000, which was also up notably from 2019. This represents about 62% of yearly operating expenses. And although our 2021 budget includes modest inflationary rate increases for both these utilities, it is likely that we will be able to forego these increases in light of the financial position of both utilities and our projections on costs and revenues into the future. More than any previous year, decisions focused less on the specifics of the 2021 revenue and expenses and more on the long-term projections and broad fiscal policies aimed at maintaining healthy fund balances throughout our 5-year projection period. Working to our advantage was a substantial cash balance in the general fund, which had built up significantly over the past 3 years. This allows us to adjust for a significant expected economic recession over the course of several years, rather than a number of months within the current fiscal year. Long-term projections for the general fund show a moderation in balances toward the levels set by our budgetary policy. DeSoto's overall operating budget for 2021 is just under $13 million. This includes $5.3 million for the general fund, $2.6 million in capital improvements, $1.7 million for debt service, $500,000 for law enforcement, and $2.7 million for the water and sewer funds. The 2021 budget represents the 4th year in a row of decreasing mill levy in DeSoto. The total 2021 city mill levy is projected at 24.029 mills. As with previous years, the 2021 budget reflects the city's commitment to correlate spending allocations with the goals and objectives of the city's long-range strategic and comprehensive plans. The COVID-related shutdowns and resulting economic slowdown will continue to present challenges in future years, but the overall health of the city's finances and soundness of established fiscal policies have positioned us to adapt well to the abruptly changing economic and social landscape we are currently seeing. Obviously, the finances are tied closely to economic activity and construction within the city, which has continued to be strong despite the COVID-related shutdowns. The Building Inspections Department issued 424 permits in 2020. 61 of these permits were for new single-family residential structures. This ties 2019 for the most in DeSoto's history. In total, the value of new construction within DeSoto in 2020 topped $41.7 million, just above the 2019 level and nearly twice that of 2018. New construction and assessed valuations have continued a years-long upswing during the past year, and continued strength is projected for the next 12 months. Of note is an increase in assessed valuations of nearly 8.4% compared to last year and 16% in the past 2 years. This increase accounts for new construction and increases in property values from reappraisals. There are several ongoing residential and commercial developments in town that are continuing to fill out. On the residential side, these include Arbor Ridge, where construction has recently begun on the 3rd phase, which will add 54 more single-family lots to the existing 90 lots already constructed. When completed, the subdivision is expected to contain approximately 200 lots. The Possum Creek residential subdivision at 84th and Ottawa contains 20 single-family lots, with 10 homes either complete or under construction. At Cherokee Woods, which has 39 single-family lots at 84th and Primrose, 25 homes are complete or under construction, and 14 lots are still available. Arcadian Estates is a 26-lot, single-family residential subdivision on 36 acres at the southwest corner of 95th and Lexington. The subdivision plat has been approved, but no infrastructure construction has started. K10 Place Apartments Phase 2 is a $7 million project just east of Harbs, which includes 7 buildings containing a total of 56 new 1- and 2-bedroom units. And nearby at Hike 10 Commerce Park, we have commercial pad sites ready for development. I'd like to move on now to outline just some of the accomplishments that we've made over the past year. The ongoing pandemic that began last spring brought a completely new set of challenges for all levels of city government. Effectively responding to these challenges required us to draw on an entirely different set of skill sets from previous experiences and consumed our focus for much of the year. Regardless of this, we were able to make good progress on a number of projects in our policy areas. Last year, we were successful in securing outside funding for several of our upcoming capital improvement projects. These include $1.5 million in federal surface transportation funds to replace the 83rd Street Bridge over the Sunflower Rail Spur in 2023. We also received $150,000 in KDOT, or Kansas Department of Transportation funds, for the 2023 bridge replacement project. We received $500,000 in KDOT funding for the Ottawa Street reconstruction project and $456,000 in Johnson County CARS funding for the 91st and Lexington Roundabout project. We also took a look at our economic incentives policy. This fall, the council approved revisions to our economic incentive policies aimed at target initiatives towards specific areas of town with a focus toward businesses that are in alignment with our comprehensive and strategic plans. The new policy will be a valuable tool in our effort to attract high-quality projects and employers to DeSoto. 2020 also saw a City Hall security project undertaken. We are nearing the completion of a project to increase security at City Hall. If you have recently visited us in City Hall, you probably noticed the ongoing construction. The work includes new secure guest service windows and glass partition walls to restrict direct public access to the inner offices. DeSoto was one of the last cities in Johnson County to implement a security system, with communities smaller than ours upgrading several years ago. We will always have that small community feeling and service at City Hall, but now we are providing that comfort of security to our employees as well. Last year, we completed the construction of the sidewalk along 83rd Street that connects Arbor Ridge subdivisions and Valley Spring homes to the existing sidewalks in the downtown area. In the area of parks and recreation, we have successfully negotiated for the acquisition of 26 acres of land along 79th Street directly across from RIVERFEST Park. The near-term intent of the acquisition is to develop soccer fields on the property with a long-term plan to add baseball and softball fields. Last summer, we completed construction on a new bathroom facility adjacent to the parking and festival area at RIVERFEST Park. The addition of permanent public restrooms had become necessary to support several large public events held there each year as daily park usage increases. In January, we began our annual update to our 5-year capital improvements plan. We will be finalizing that later this month. Plan updates include increased funding for the annual sidewalk replacement program from $20,000 to $60,000 annually, $375,000 in 2022 for improvements to our existing parks, including play equipment, ball field irrigation, and restroom improvements in Miller Park, and additional play equipment and security lighting at RIVERFEST Park. $560,000 was added to the plan in 2023 and 2024 to develop sports fields at the recently acquired property along 79th Street across from RIVERFEST. Some of our goals and initiatives for 2021 include the continuation of our summer concert series. COVID-19 derailed our 2020 season, but when it is safe to do so, we will resume the concert series we started in 2019 with free events throughout the summer. We have also initiated a planning effort in the southwest area of our city. In cooperation with the DeSoto Economic Development Council, we have initiated a detailed infrastructure and land use study of an area we believe to have potential for immediate economic development. The area lies generally south of K-10 Highway between Lexington Avenue and Sunflower Road. The plan will help to identify utility and transportation infrastructure that will be needed to support future land uses and assist in our efforts to account for these upgrades in our capital improvements planning. This summer, we will be constructing a sidewalk along 82nd Street from Delaware to Ottawa Street with the use of $100,000 in funding from the Community Development Block Grant Program. This year, we will be designing a project to reconstruct Ottawa Street from 82nd Street northward to the entrance to RIVERFEST Park. This project will be a complete street roadway, which will include curb and gutters and sidewalks. Construction is scheduled for 2022, and the project is currently estimated to cost $1.4 million. Major upcoming project in our capital improvements program is the construction of a roundabout at the intersection of 91st Street and Lexington Avenue. The project has an estimated cost of $1.25 million, and construction is scheduled for this summer. As most of you know, the intersection is often congested on school mornings, and we have been looking for a solution for many years. Because the congestion only occurs for short periods of time and not every day, a roundabout is the most appropriate engineering solution. It will also provide an opportunity to create an entry gateway into the core of the city. I'm excited to continue the progress we've made as a community and welcome the opportunities ahead. Thank you for giving the time and the opportunity to present this information on the state of the city of DeSoto. As you can see, the city is in great shape, and I believe we are in a position for 2021 to see even greater things. Thank you.